Welcome to the Paul Chandler Show. I'm your host, Paul Chandler. In tonight's episode, we're going to be looking at a case study involving multiple skin laceration closures. So we'll be given an example, and we'll be working it out together on how you code the skin closure, the lacerations for those repairs. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. So tonight I'm going to be giving you a very difficult laceration repair closure case study that we're going to work out together. Because there's going to be a total of 5 different laceration repairs that the patient's getting. So I'm going to be listing them all, and then we'll be coding it. I'll be talking out loud as how we're doing the process. So with the 5 different locations that we're going to have, let's have an 8.6 centimeter repair closure. That is going to be complex on the patient's forehead. And then let's have a 5.5 centimeter repair closure that is complex on the patient's right cheek. And then we'll have 3 more. And looking at next, we'll do a 4.0 centimeter, the complex repair on the patient's left cheek. And let's do a 4.0 centimeter. Now we'll change up to an intermediate repair closure on the patient's chin. And let's do a 12.5 centimeter complex closure on the patient's chest. So in this case, we have 5 different locations. And remembering that when we have the repair closures, that we have to base it on the patient's location, but with the CPT book, we have the simple, intermediate, and the complex, so we have all 3. And whenever each of the locations are grouped together and have the same parent code, we group them together first. So looking at these, I'm going to take them one by one, and then I'm going to see if we have multiple parent codes that we can link them up together, and we add the measurements. So an 8.6 centimeter on the patient's complex repair on the patient's forehead. That would give the parent code 13131. 5.5 centimeter on the patient's right cheek. That would also give the parent code 13131 to work with. Same thing for the complex repair on the left cheek, 13131. Now intermediate repair, so we're in a different set of parent codes now. On the patient's chin, 4.0 centimeters would give us parent code 12051 to work with, and a 12.5 centimeter complex repair on the patient's chest would give us parent code 13100 to start working out with. So now these are not the actual code answers themselves, just group them together and see what parent codes that we're working with. So we have the first 3 are parent codes 13131. So then now I would add these first 3 together. So I'm going to box off these measurements. We would count and add them up as one number altogether. And then 12051, that is a parent code by itself. And 13100, that is a separate parent code as well. So because we have the 3 locations in the red, I'm going to add those measurements together. So you see we have 8.6 and 5.5 and 4, kind of doing old school math here. That'd be 1 and carry the 1, 8 and 9 plus 9 is 18, so that gives me 18.1 centimeters. So looking with parent code 13131, I need a total of 18.1 centimeters in that group. And looking at here, I'm going to code that first because we have a complex repairs 13131 in the red group. We also have complex repairs in the green border with 13100. However, though, 18.1, higher number than 12.5, so that's more work, so I'm going to group this together first. So in order, I'll be grouping the red coats first, then the green, and then the blue. Because intermediate, it's less work, so we'll put that coat at the end. So I have 13, 13, 1. Now I need 18.1 centimeters in that part. So if I do 13, 13, 1 to start out with, looking at the description, it gives me as far as 1.1 to 2.5 centimeters. But I need more than that. So 13, 13, 1 is not going to be the first coat I start out with. I would go to the 13, 13, 2. That's the kid code. So 13, 13, 2. That gives me, in this case, up to the first 7.5. And I need a total of 18.1. So then I do the add-on code, 13, 13, 3. And doing 1 unit, 7.5, and additional 5, because 13, 13, 3 is each additional 5 centimeters or part thereof. So far, with 1 unit for 13, 13, 2, 1 unit of 13, 13, 3, I have 7.5 and 5. That gives me 12.5 centimeters. If I were to make it times 2, then that would give me 17.5 centimeters. Trying to do simple math without a phone anymore. How do we do it when we were kids? At least when I was a kid. So we have 7.5 plus 10. That gives me 17.5 centimeters. I'm almost there, but I need 0.6 more. So then, because it's up to including or 5 centimeters or part thereof, I would make that times 3 for 3 units. So adding the number of centimeters together, 13, 13, 2 gives me 7.5 centimeters. And 13, 13, 3 times 3, 5, 10, 15, gives me 15 centimeters. So 15 plus 7.5 is 22.5. So I'm in that range that I need. So this would cover the first part. And what I'll do, I'll be writing the code numbers out in brown, but then underneath it, I'll be underlining what group of codes that I'm pulling that from. So this 13, 13, 2, and then 13, 13, 3 times 3 gives us the red codes. And then now we have, like I said, we're going to do the green next. For that's the last complex repair that we have, dealing with the chest. So 13, 100, and I need 12.5 centimeters from that. 13, 100. Oh gosh darn, I have to use an add-on code again. So I have 13, 101. That covers up to, well, 2.6 to 7.5 centimeters. I got 7.5, I need 12.5. So I have to use additional code, the add-on code 1 time for an additional 5 centimeters. So then I would do 13, 102. And those cover the 12.5 centimeters for the chest. And then the last one for the chin, it's intermediate. Again, so now it's a different parent code, 4 centimeters. How 12051 was the code for the parent code. And I need to drop down to 4.0 centimeters. And that would give me code 12052 for that 4 centimeter incision, intermediate repair that we're doing, 4 centimeter intermediate repair that we're doing on the chin, and I'll underline that in blue. So working out here that yes, this is a wap doozy, or a big one, a big kahuna, whatever you want to call it. This is a big work case study that we have. So we have 5 different locations that we did for the repair closures. We had 4 complex and 1 intermediate. And grouping the first 3 together, the same parent code, we got 18.1 centimeters. That's how we had the first 2 codes. Then we coded the next complex repair, because that was only 12.5 centimeters. Then because of the size of it, we had to use a parent code and an add-on code there. And then the last code, just the 1 intermediate, separate location, and also separate severity level. That's how that code is grouped out by itself, giving us the last code there. So altogether, we have 13, 13, 2, 13, 13, 3 times 3, 13, 101, 13, 102, and 12,052. And this code has so many freaking 13s in there. Reading these, 13, 13, 3, 13, 13, 2, trying to say that 5 times fast. And while you're at it, if Peter Piper could pick up pickled peppers, how many peppers could Peter Piper pick? Yeah, I don't write the codes, but that's how they put them in order. And so that's how I worked out a case study, working on 5 different locations with 4 complexes and 1 intermediate there. And I do thank you for watching this episode of the Paul Chandler Show, and have an awesome rest of your night.